Just one issue while we're on the subject, and then we can go on and move forward with the business. But there's been this issue, as Stephanie has talked about, with these checks. And here recently, Councilmember Francis put on one of the local blogs that, and published some of these checks that she says she had 3 checks that went through the bank with either one or no signatures. Now, I'm not sure the People's Bank of Kent County would appreciate people thinking that they run such a sloppy organization as that. The truth of the matter is, there's a big difference in, and keep in mind, there's 30 to 50 checks a week goes out of this office, every week. For somebody, I've missed signing checks myself because the checks are put with invoices, and sometimes there'll be a check behind an invoice, you don't see it, so we're human and we make mistakes. But in all of the checks that we've signed, they found 3 checks that they claimed, and then they put it on a website that went through the bank, and it says it went through the bank with 1 or no signatures. There was 2 checks that went through the bank, in their words, with 1 signature, and 1 check that went through the bank with no signatures. That couldn't be further from the truth. The truth of the matter is, those checks went to the bank because we had missed a signature. As Stephanie pointed out, Mayor Willis missed a signature just the other day, and we had to call him and have him come back. If the girls miss that and it goes to the bank does not miss that. And they'll call us, they'll bring that check back, and then we'll have to put the appropriate signatures. 2 of the checks, we got them back from the bank today. One of them, Bobby and I, Mayor Willis and I, had both missed signing it. So obviously it was stuck somewhere where we didn't see it. And both signatures was missing. The bank brought that check back, made us both sign it, and then it went through. The big question with all these issues about these checks that people should be asking, were they legitimate expenditures? Were they made out for something that we really owed that was a legitimate expenditure? And the answer in every one of those cases is absolutely. The other one that only had 1 signature on it, it had my signature on it, and Mayor Willis had missed it and didn't sign it. Not a crime, but when it goes to the bank, they'll catch it and they send it back. So to make the statement that these checks are going through the banks with 1 or no signatures is just not true. And I thought and I think when somebody, a council person, goes to the point of putting our checks, copies of our checks on a website, where, you know, if we send somebody a check that we do business with, they get our account number. So be it. But when you put an account number out there for every crook in the world to see it, I think that's going overboard a little bit. I think it was inappropriate, and I think the bottom line is that what they pointed out was not accurate to begin with. Those checks are not, we all miss signing checks once in a while, once in a great while. But it does not go through that bank with no signatures on it, or 1 signature, and it has always been for a legitimate expenditure to deal with this town. I just wanted to point that out.
Excuse me, would you explain what you're talking about when you say, was something on the internet that showed the bank account number?
There
Would
was
you explain that? Where did you
there
go?
were copies. I'm probably a bad one to explain it because I didn't take time to look at it, but
It was out there?
it was published on a website, and there was copies of these 3 checks.
And you could actually
You
see it?
could see it, and you could actually
Who
get
they
the account
were,
number on it.
How
if you
much
wanted
it
to.
was, who it went to?
That's true.
Yes.
And you could see the bank account number?
This is what was online. You know, and this is Mrs. Francis's prerogative to do
Whose-
this. This
whose?
was Councilmember Francis.
Susan Francis put that out?
Yeah, she did. But she did black out the bank's routing number.
She blacked it out.
But you can still see
And,
it.
and she blacked out the account number.
But
My issue is that it, you know, if that's what she wants to do, you know, that, I mean, that's her prerogative, like I said, but I have an issue, and I sent an email the next day that basically said, you know, someone sophisticated enough can certainly enlarge the screen, and you can see
You
through
can
these
see
count
through that
numbers.
with a specific,
And, you know, if you're gonna do something like that,
that's
then
illegal, isn't
please,
it?
well,
Or is
I'm not a
it?
lawyer,
Oh.
I don't know, Chip might be able to better tell
But to
you.
give your bank account, well,
It certainly,
And she also
makes me
stated,
very uneasy,
she,
What?
excuse me,
and it certainly makes me very
yeah,
uneasy.
I would think so. How can you have a response?
Well, I mean, I think Ron Fithian made a good point, you know, these checks are given to vendors and they have all that information. I think that the disconcerting part of this is to put this information online, where a whole bunch of people that may have different motives and wake up every morning thinking, what kind of mischief can I create today in the world? It just invites issues, and it's, you know, I mean, there's nothing, I mean, these are public documents. If somebody comes into the town office and says, I understand you've been paying, you know, the Kent News for legal ads, I want to see canceled checks, you know, it might take some time, but we could show those.
Yeah.
To post them online, it just invites mischief. And I can't speak to whether blacking them out is sufficient enough to guarantee nobody could see those account numbers, but it's just not conduct you would expect to be happening. I mean, where have things gotten when elected officials think there's a value in putting on the internet canceled town checks to make a point?
And
You also
especially,
said that there were many more, were there many more?
especially, no, this
and
is
she
all
said
they.
they cleared, she had that typed in, she
It is-
posted.
no, these checks have not cleared the bank. They come back for the appropriate signatures. The bottom, the problem of it is when they put it out there, they're putting it out there, trying to get people to believe that the business that's being conducted in this town is so shabby that we're sending checks out and the bank is letting them go through with one or no, with improper signatures. And it is in an attempt to put a cloud of suspicion over, well, what else is going on? And there is nothing going on, and the bank is not doing that sloppy work. They are not cashing checks that are not properly signed. And I just wanted that a minute to, Stephanie done a great job, but I just wanted to go one step further and clear up that issue, that the checks that are going out of here are going out to pay appropriate bills that are received, and that the bank is not foolish enough to be cashing checks with one or no signatures. Bottom, end of story.
I mean, you know, I'm not gonna say that, you know, it hasn't, you know, slipped through Lacey or I, and we might have missed seeing that signature, you know, missed that signature. It happens, we're human. We really do try to be very careful. I talked with Ronnie today, and, you know, it would be nice if we could not have the mayor come in at 4 o'clock on a Friday to sign checks. So, you know, and there are times that's our fault because we've not been able to get them prepared. It's been a little crazy lately, so, you know, but, so it's an honest mistake. There's nothing, you know, scandalous going on.
And unfortunately, it happens. It's just one of those things.
I want to go back to the statement, Stephanie, that you made earlier, your statement that you read. I think I can speak on behalf of the majority of the board that we find you and Lacey to have the utmost professionalism in that office, and we trust you 100% with the town's finances.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very professional.